The Buffalo Bills just lost control of the AFC East, and frankly, they might have just lost control of the entire conference. We had a stranglehold as an unbeaten, undefeated team going into this game on a Sunday night against the New England Patriots, but last night, New England came into our house and they beat us. Not only was that a gut punch, but that was a reality check. Bills Mafia is going crazy on Twitter. Bills Mafia is going crazy everywhere on Reddit. It doesn't matter where it is. We're talking about Brandon Beane. There's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame to go around. Bobby Babich. There's a lot of blame to go around. Sean McDermott and Joe Brady as well. There's a lot of blame to go around. Frankly, you look at a lot of our personnel groups. You look at a lot of our players. Everybody is up in arms and everybody is upset. Of course they are, because there was a shift in control. We had a stranglehold on the division. We had a stranglehold on the conference, and we gave it up to the Patriots, who are now 3-2. Again, I think context is really important. Today, we're going to talk a lot about context pieces, but you know what? The Patriots were they're one play away from being 4-1. So they're not a terrible team. They're not a bad team, but what hurt the most is there was a game ball that was given to Stephon Diggs. He came in to Highmark. He beat us. He had 10 catches, 146 yards, and he looked great. And you know what? There's so many things within this that we need to talk about today. I want to talk about our offense. I want to talk about our defense. I want to talk about our turnovers. I want to talk about the schedule going forward, some of our injuries. There is just so much happening right now that we just want to briefly run over. So stick with me. We've got some news on all of those fronts. With that even being said, my name's Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're just breaking down Bills content every single day. So if you're looking for a place for just updates each and every day, feel free to like, subscribe, join our channel. And if you would, regardless of how you feel right now about this team, the direction of it, if you are in this for the long haul, if you are in this for the 90s, if you are in this for the 13-second game, you're in this for right now, make sure to drop a comment. Go Bills, because we are Bills Mafia for life. But let's get right into it. I want to talk about the roster yesterday. There's some bright spots. There's some things that were actually good yesterday. Landon Jackson played, right? Probably because of injury. Maybe not the best. Ed Oliver was out. TJ Sanders was out. Matt Milano was in the game, but he got hurt again. He looked okay, but then he got hurt. His pec is again inflamed, causing issues. Again, Dorian Williams out. Dorian Strong out. Maxwell Hairston's out. There is so many injuries right now on our team, and it feels terrible. Not only do we have injuries, but we've got Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt still out. I'm not coping in this. I'm just saying, context matters when we're looking at this team. We pretty much, outside of a couple dumb plays in the first half, we pretty much shut out the Patriots outside of those field goals, right? It was a close game. We had every opportunity to go down the field and score, but we missed on those opportunities because of turnovers, because of bad plays, bad choices by our offense, maybe even some bad play calling by Joe Brady. But even when I look at this roster, we know that Connor McGovern had a hand injury. We'll see what comes of that as the weeks go on. We know that Josh Allen potentially fell on his shoulder, his arm. He could be hurt to some degree as well. I don't want to overly ramp that, but Ray Davis, Ty Johnson were in the game last night. They didn't look good at all. It looks like James Cook is frankly the one guy, the bell cow that we want and need him to be. And for the most part, Josh Allen, he still got out of the pocket. He did, as a lot of people were talking about today, he did miss a really key throw to Curtis Samuel because he rolled right out of the pocket when he could have looked left, and he probably could have had a game-winning touchdown later on in the game where we ended up basically stalling as a drive. But there's a lot to talk about again in our roster. Even looking at this, with 2:31 left, right? 3rd and 10. This is that play I was talking about. Watch Josh Allen. You know, he has a chance for Curtis Samuel to get the touchdown. Curtis is running up here. He's wide open. Josh Allen instead rolls to the right. 9 times out of 10, Josh Allen makes this play work. But you know, on this specific occurrence, earlier also we were seeing things like this. He forces the ball into places that it shouldn't be. He's looking for these key moments that he can just launch the ball into Khalil Shakir's hands like he did. And you know what? On that specific occurrence, it didn't work. But he did have, if he would have had his eyes up a little bit more, that's a terrible thing to say. Josh Allen is so good. He's so amazing. He's great at reading defenses. I can't talk badly about him. I would make a worse decision in that moment. But you know what? I think as Bills fans, we've been spoiled with all world level play by Josh Allen. MVP, of course, level play by Josh Allen last year. But you know what? I look at this stat. The Bills are 28th in average target separation with 1.4, right? Again, this is really, really bad. Josh Palmer was recently signed. It was like $10 million. Keon Coleman, of course, was the second rounder from a couple, last year. He's doing all right. Last year he was a rookie. We were hoping there was a lot of camp buzz. He's had some big plays early on in the season, but he hasn't been this like otherworldly athlete. Not only that, Curtis Samuel has been pretty dormant. Our receiving core just generally, even Elijah Moore was not on the active roster yesterday, not because he was injured, but just because the coaches decided to sit him. Tyrell Shavers, the big offseason story of him coming in and hopefully, producing at elite level. Josh Allen had a pass to him yesterday. Tyrell Shavers just kept running the 9 route. He didn't even stop. I don't know if it was a hitch or what it was supposed to be. Tyrell Shavers was totally miscommunicating right there with Josh Allen. I don't know whose fault it was. I didn't look closely at the tape on that one, but I did see that there was just a broad miscommunication. The Bills, again, even as this tweet says, the Bills need someone who could separate well. There's a lot of guys we could trade for. Bills Mafia right now, if you're looking at guys with lower cost contracts, or maybe you're looking at saying, hey, let's trade our first next year for a big player. Honestly, this might sound crazy. It's never going to happen. But like if A.J. Brown truly is sad and mad and upset at Jalen Hurts, go get A.J. Brown as our wide receiver for our team. Could you imagine Khalil Shakir, A.J. Brown, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, and James Cook and Josh Allen with this offensive line? That would be insane. But that's a pipe dream. Regardless, what do you think right now? Is there a guy that's out there that could potentially be added? I heard some people, talking about Rashid Shaheed. I saw some people, I think Dan Mitchell said something about Chris Olave. There's a lot of guys in the league right now who could potentially come in, maybe on teams that are, 1-4 or 0-5, whatever it might be, that could come to our squad and help us out, get us some better separation. And actually, even on some of those scramble plays that Josh Allen has, you'd think with his level of mobility, he escapes 1 or 2, 3 sometimes tackles. My wife said that to me last night. I thought that was great, that it wasn't just 2 tackles he evaded. It was 3 on that play. There should be some separation when those sort of plays happen. But keep going on here. This was the play that Matt Milano got hurt. He's diving. Matt Milano goes in for the tackle. He hits him with a shoulder. And again, it just looks like he hurt his shoulder again, or his pec. Very connected muscles right there together. But again, Buffalo didn't just get beat by the Patriots, but they came into our house and they had their way with us down the stretch. There's some other things I wanted to talk about here with our rookies. There's a lot of critique right now going on about Brandon Beane and the players that he selected. The 2024 class, for the most part, it hasn't been exceptional. But the 2025 class right here, again, let's just run down the list. Max Hairston, right? TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Deion Walker, like all of these guys have flashed in different ways. Not Maxwell Hairston. They've flashed in different ways, not Landon Jackson. Wait, maybe they haven't flashed in ways, right? Really, the only guy that we're like absolutely sold out on right now is Jackson Haas. But even so, we look at our offense, we have 2 pretty capable tight ends. Hopefully, again, we've put a lot of money into, Josh Palmer. We've put a lot of money into Dawson Knox. We've put a lot of money into guys who frankly aren't these elite separators. I wish we could take these contracts and actually go get, a T. Higgins, or we could go get a Jameson Williams who got a $20 to $25 million contract. That would be an electric player that could really add value to our team. Of course, both of those players recently just locked up. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt the Bengals would trade us T. Higgins, but my guess is with Joe Burrow being out, maybe there's some opportunity there. Regardless, this video is not about that. But looking at this rookie class, there's some people who are really, really souring on Brandon Beane. Maybe you have already. You look at even our defense, and we had a rough game. Drake May, yeah, he didn't have a touchdown, but you know who did? Ramondre Stevenson, a couple of them. You know who had 146 passing yards or 146 receiving yards? Stephon Diggs. He got a game ball after that. I watched that video this morning, and I'll be honest, I didn't cry, but I thought about it. I was close to crying. That hurt. That hurt to know that we had a guy on our team for years who dominated. And yeah, there were some issues. Yeah, there were some things down the stretch that we didn't appreciate, whatever. But you know what? He played well. He had a good game. But again, the thing that I'm even looking at, again, on our defense is we're missing tackles. We're struggling. Joey Bosa got dominated by Will Campbell. It wasn't a clean game for him, but we had no Ed Oliver, we had no Matt Milano in the second half, and that's when the Patriots offense really started to move. Of course, Ed Oliver was in the whole game, but in all of that, we had no control. They were out. They were able to run the ball on us in the way that they wanted to. And you know what? For the first half, they played pretty well. The second half, it wasn't the same. If I go back to this, and again, I wrote down some stats: 3 turnovers, 11 penalties, 146 yards for Stephon Diggs, and about 5 key injuries on our defense. If those things didn't happen, we would have won this game. We do have a more talented roster. We do have a better quarterback. We do have a better system and scheme. But you know what? In all of that, it doesn't matter because we lost. But I want to finish off this video by just looking at the calendar, looking at the schedule here. Of course, we beat the Saints a couple weeks ago. The Patriots, sad game there. This upcoming week, we're playing against the Falcons. This game against the Falcons is going to be really key. They have a top 10 rushing attack in the NFL. Of course, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier are going to be playing hard. They're coming off their bye. We should expect that to be a hard game. It's, again, I don't want to call it a trap game, but you know what? The Bills' run D is still 22nd in the NFL. This is going to be a key matchup for us. We'll see how we match up against the second-year quarterback. But then right after that, I think the big thing that we've been looking for, hopefully, is a rest week in our bye week. I really want to see in week 8 a bump in our production on defense when it comes to sacks, when it comes to pressures, when it comes to pass breakups by our defensive backs. I want to see Maxwell Hairston back out there after the bye. I want to see Hoyt. I want to see Okunjobi. I think that will be a much needed boost to our team. And you know what? It can't come quick enough in my book. The Panthers, they just had a crazy win this last week against the Dolphins. We'll see what happens there. And of course, week 9 is the game that we're all circling. Week 9 is the game that we're all looking at, that we really need to not only secure the win, but dominate. That's the game on the schedule for me. Of course, all games matter, but for me right now, as a Bills fan, we have to win that game. I think, one, to get some of that morale back, to get some of that energy back. But Bills Mafia, you've seen all this before. The heartbreaks, some of the miracles, the almosts, the losses, the stinging, the gut punch, the reality checks. You know what? This team is going to be reignited by this loss. The AFC isn't running away. It's not out of our grips just yet, but Buffalo has to stop hurting itself. We have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. But if you believe this team will bounce back again, drop a Go Bills down in the comments. But in all of it, my name's Calm. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks. God bless and go Bills. See you tomorrow.